Hello, my dear friends. In this session, we will take up a very important topic called partnership and shares. First, we'll discuss a little bit of theory. Though theory is not that much, then we'll take up some questions for practice. Right. Now, partnerships comes into a picture when we talk about business and business done together, right, by some people. Now, what we have to understand here is that how is the profit sharing done? Right? How is the profit shared? Okay. One thing that we need to understand that profit sharing will depend on couple of things like investment amount, the duration of investment or the time. All right. If there is any person who is working, the other person may be a sleeping partner, right? And whether the entire profit is being shared or not. So we'll have various questions on that, right? Now let's take up this, the basic mathematical expression of this. Whenever we have to calculate profit share of anyone, what we need to do is first we calculate profit ratio. How do we calculate profit ratio? The profit ratio will be equal to the ratio of product of investment and time, right? Investment and time. Okay. So in all our questions, this is exactly the process that we have to follow. One important thing, suppose time is not mentioned, then we have to assume by default that the times are same for everyone. Suppose the investment is not mentioned, then we assume that the investments are same for everyone. All right. So let's say if I say that for same time, profit ratio will be equal to investment ratio. All right. So depending upon the situations, we will apply these things, right? And otherwise it is always the product of investment into time and their ratio will give us the profit ratio and then we divide using the ratio method. Okay. Let's take up the first question. This says Mahesh started a business with an investment of rupees 15,000. After some months, Suresh joined him with rupees 20,000. So let's write it like this. Mahesh, Suresh, investment amount. For Mahesh it is 15,000. For Suresh, it is 20,000. At the end of the 1 year, at the end of the year of the start of the business, the total profit made was shared equally by both. After how many months did Suresh join? Now see, Suresh joined later. That means nothing mentioned about Mahesh. So Mahesh was there by default for the entire period of 1 year. All right. So now 1 year is 12 months. So let's say the time duration for Mahesh is 12 months. M for months. Now Suresh, let's say it was X months. We are assuming that Suresh was there in the business for X months. So how will be the profit calculated or how will be the profit ratio calculated? To find profit ratio, you multiply the investment and time of each one. So for Mahesh, it will be 15,000 into 12. And for Suresh, it will be 20,000 into X. Whatever ratio we get, that is the ratio of profit share. So I think 3 zeros are cancelled. And then 5 cancels 15 3 times and 5 cancels 20 4 times. 4 cancels 12 3 times. Right? So 3 into 3, that is 9 is to X. This is the profit ratio. But in this question, it is saying that they shared the profit equally. What does it mean? It means that the profit ratio must be equal to 1:1 for Mahesh is to Suresh. Right? Equally means the ratio should be 1:1. That is 9 by X should be equal to 1/1. This clearly tells us that X is equal to 9 months. That means Suresh invested his amount for 9 months. Now read the question very carefully. What does it ask? It is asking after how many months did Suresh join? So Suresh was there in the business for 9 months out of entire 1 year. 1 year is 12 months. That means he came after 3 months, right? So Suresh joined after 3 months, right? He was there in the business for 9 months out of 12 months. That means he came after 3 months. Okay. So the answer of the question is 3 months. Let's take up the next question now. The second question, it says Ram, Shyam and Tarun started a business together. So Ram, Shyam and Tarun. Twice the investment of Ram, thrice the investment of Shyam and 4 times the investment of Tarun were equal. Okay. So let's write it like this. 2 times R is equal to 3 times S is equal to 4 times T. Alright. Oh, so from here we can directly find the ratio of R, S and T. This we have done in the ratio chapter. Directly we can say whenever there is a multiplication in the ratio, they will come in inverse. So R is to S is to C, T will be 1 by 2, is to 1 by 3, is to 1 by 4. Or what you could have done is you could have taken K. From there you could get R equal to K by 2, S equal to K by 3, T equal to K by 4. So K would get cancelled and the ratio will be 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 4. But you can't leave it like this. Ratio always has to have whole numbers. So what should we do? Here the denominators are 2, 3 and 4. So LCM of 2, 3 and 4 is 12. So multiply by 12. So 1 by 2 into 12 is 6. 1 by 3 into 12 is 4. 1 by 4 into 12 is 3. So the ratio of investments we have got from here 6 is to 4 is to 3. Great. Now the question says after a year of the start of the business, the total profit made was shared by them. The question is find the ratio of their profits, right? So whatever ratio they shared the profit, what is the ratio of that profit share? Okay, let's see. Here nothing is mentioned about time. So we assume that the time is same. Now whenever it is same time, you can directly memorize and use it. For same time, profit ratio is straight away equal to investment ratio. All right. So in this question, it is directly 6 is to 4 is to 3. And that is the answer. That's it. Okay, so this was a direct question. Let's take up the next question now. The third question, it says A, B and C started a business with investment of 10,000, 12,000 and 16,000 respectively. What is the share of B in the total profit of 3,800 at the end of 1 year? Nothing mentioned about time. So straight away we say that the profit ratio is equal to investment ratio. All right. And investments are given as 10,000, 12,000 and 16,000. All right. So as you can see, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 cancel, and then 2 cancels 10 5 times, 2 cancels 12 6 times, and 2 cancels 16 8 times. So this is the ratio of their investments. Hence it is also the ratio of profits. The total profit is 3,800. So divide 3,800 in this ratio. What do we have to find? We have to find the share of B. We can actually find the share of each one. The share of B will be this one. This is B. This is A. This is C. So B's share will be equal to 6 divided by 5 plus 6, 11 plus 8, 19 into 3,800. Now 19 2s is 38. So it is 200 into 6, that is 1,200 rupees. Alright. So the profit share of B in this case is 1,200 rupees. You can also calculate the profit share of A. You can also calculate the profit share of C. The profit share of A would be 5 divided by 19 into 3,800, which will come out to be 1,000 rupees. And profit share of C will be equal to 8 divided by 19 into 3,800, which is equal to 1,600 rupees. Right? So this was a good simple question. Let's take up the next one. The fourth question, it says in a joint venture, ABC invested half the total capital, 1/3 of the total capital and the remaining capital respectively. Okay, so let me put the chart here. A, B, C investments. A invested half the total capital. Suppose the total capital is 1 rupee. Okay, that means the investment of A will be 1 by 2 rupees. Investment of B will be 1/3, so 1 by 3 rupees, and C will be 1 minus 1 by 2 and 1 by 3. So first let's simplify this. So this is 2 and 3 LCM 6. 6 into 1 is 6 minus 1 by 2 will be 3 and 1 by 3 will give us 2. So 6 minus 3 minus 2. If you open the bracket, both of them will be minus. So it is 1 by 6. So the investment ratio is equal to 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 6. You must simplify it. To simplify, multiply by the LCM of denominator 2, 3, 6, that is 6. So if you multiply by 6, 6 by 2 will be 3, 6 by 3 will be 2 and 6 by 6 will be 1. See, always remember the ratio has to be a whole number ratio, right? Now, here nothing mentioned about time. So clearly, profit ratio is straight away equal to investment ratio. So profit ratio is equal to investment ratio. And here the investment ratio is 3 is to 2 is to 1. So clearly 3 is to 2 is to 1 is the profit ratio. Okay. The total profit is 60,000. Question is find B's share. So you can find the share of each one. As of now, we'll just find the share of B, and that will be equal to, it is 2 divided by 3 plus 2 plus 1, that is 5 plus 1, 6 into 60,000. So very clearly you can see 2 by 6 is 3, 60,000 by 3 is 20,000 rupees. Alright. So this again was a direct question. Now, next one. The fifth question, it says A, B and C entered into a partnership. The investment of A was 90,000. Out of the total profit of 1200, shares of A and C were 600 and 200. Oh, so let's do one thing first. A, B, C. Let me write the profit value first. The share of A is 600 rupees. Share of B is not given. Share of C is 200 rupees. But the total profit is 1200. So 6 plus 2, 800. Total profit should be 1200. So clearly we get the profit of B as 6 plus 2, 800. Subtract from 1200 will be 400. So the profit ratio for ABC in this question, profit ratio will be 600 is to 400 is to 200. That is A is to B is to C profit ratio. Okay, let's see how it helps us. Now if you divide by 200, it will be 3 is to 2 is to 1. This is the profit ratio. Okay, now what is the question saying? A invested 90,000 rupees. Find B's capital. Right, nothing is mentioned about time, so it is for the same time. That means everybody invested for same time. For same time, we need to directly use that profit ratio should be equal to investment ratio. We are doing it almost for third or fourth time now. So investment ratio. Here the profit ratio is already given 3 is to 2 is to 1. So the investment ratio will also be equal to 3 is to 2 is to 1. Correct? So this is ABC. Now A's investment is given 90,000. So this 3 stands for 90,000. Alright. So I think you can see clearly 3 3s are 9. So 2 3s are 6. So this 2 will be 3 into 2, 60,000. And this 1 will be 1 into 3, that is 30,000. Right. So we have got the investment of all of them. What is the question asking? Find B's capital. So B's capital will be 60,000 and that is the answer. Alright. Let's take up the next one now. Now the next question, sixth one, it says ABC entered into a partnership with the ratio of capitals at 3 is to 5 is to 8. If at the end of the year, the ratio of the profit is 6 is to 15 is to 4, then the ratio of the period of investment, right? Clearly, the capital means investment. Investment ratio is given 3 is to 5 is to 8, right? And time duration, we have to find the ratio of the time duration. This is what we have to find. Let's assume it is X is to Y is to Z, alright? And then profit ratio from here. How do we calculate profit ratio from here? It will be the multiplication of investment and time. So 3 into X, 3X, 5 into Y, 5Y, and 8 into Z, that is 8Z. This should be the ratio of profit. And the ratio of profit is already given 6 is to 15 is to 4. Right? Now here, this is a very interesting situation. I'll just share one method with you. What you can do is you can directly calculate X is to Y is to Z from here. Be very careful. This is 3X. This is 5y, this is 8z. So if you take x from here, corresponding to 3s, it was 6 here. So if you're dividing by 3, basically from 3x to x, what you're doing, dividing by 3. So here also divide by 3. So 6 by 3, right? Similarly, if you take, in place of 5y, if you take y, that means you're dividing by 5. So the other side also, what was the number corresponding to 5y? It was 15. So divide by 5. Similarly, 8z, you take z here. So instead of 4, you will take 4 by 8 here. Right? This process you can do directly. That's a very beautiful thing to do. Okay. So 3x is to 5y is to 8z was 6 is to 15 is to 4. So directly x is to y is to z will be 6 by 3, 6 by 3, 15 by 5 and 4 by 8. Right. So if you simplify, 6 by 3 is 2, 15 by 5 is 3 and 4 by 8 is 1 by 2. So multiply by 2 in the entire ratio, you will get 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6 and 1 by 2 into 2 is 1. So the ratio of period of their investment is 4 is to 6 is to 1. This is the ratio of period, ratio of time interval. Okay, so this is 4 is to 6 is to 1 and that is the answer of this question. Right? So this was a very interesting concept. Instead of writing all these things, you could have directly taken it as time is equal to profit divided by investment. Why? Because when we calculate profit, what do? We do for profit we multiply time and investment. So directly for time we can do profit by investment. And the profit was 6 is to 15 is to 4. Alright. So correspondingly divide this whole ratio by the investment, that is 3 is to 5 is to 8. So that also would have given the same result. But I'm saying that you can do this directly also. Okay. Now let's take up the next question. Now this seventh question, it says P and Q started a business together. Their investments in it were in the ratio of 5 is to 4. 20% of the total profit was donated. P's profit share was 360. Let's assume that the total profit value was equal to 100 rupees, just for example. Okay, now donation goes 20% out of this, so donation would be equal to 20 rupees, 20% of 100, so it is 20 rupees. So that means the remaining profit will be the shared profit. So the shared profit is equal to, you can directly say 80% of 100 or 100 minus 20, that is 80 rupees. Now this 80 rupees, how will it be distributed? Let's see. Their investment ratio is given as 5:4. Nothing is mentioned about time, so we assume that it is for the same time. For the same time, whatever is the investment ratio will become profit ratio. Okay, so profit ratio is also equal to 5:4. Now, so out of this 80 rupees, how much should P get? Okay, how much should P get? For P it is this 5 and Q it is 4. So for P's share out of this 100 rupees should be equal to 5 by 9 into 80. This should be the share of P. Now this is how much? This is 400 by 9. Now look at the question. What is the question saying? The question actually, it says the P's profit share is 360. Find the total profit, right? So what we say here, we have calculated P share as 400 by 9. So we say that 400 by 9, if it is equivalent to 360, then 100, which is the total profit, is equal to how much? 400 by 9 is equal to 360, then 100 will be equivalent to how much? So just multiply crosswise and simplify. It is 360 into 100 divided by 400 by 9. So carefully, if you simplify, it will come out to be 360 into 100 into 9 divided by 400. So 0, 0, 0, 0 cancel. 4 cancels 360, 90 times. 90 into 9 is 810. So the answer is 810 rupees. Right, so this is the total profit. So this was a slightly tricky question. You had to be a little careful here. Okay, now let's take up the next question. This 8th question, it says the ratio of investments and the ratio of period of investment, that is given 8:3:6, 3:8:4. Find the ratio of profit. I think we can do it directly. We must do it directly. Investment ratio is already given. Ratio of investment, ratio of period, that is 8. Investment is 8:3:6. Right, and the period, ratio of period, that is time, is given 3:8:4. The first ratio is for investment, second ratio is for time. So the profit ratio will be direct multiplication of investment into time, right? So profit ratio will be equal to, for the first person it will be 8 into 3. For the second person it will be 3 into 8, right? And for the third person it will be 6 into 4. Okay. So the ratio of these values will be the ratio of profit. 8 3s are 24, 3 8s are 24. Very nice. 6 into 4, that is also 24. So there is 1:1:1. This is the profit ratio for ABC. That's the answer. All right. Now the next one. The 9th question, it says Ram, Rahim and Mohan invest 80,000, 64,000 and 48,000 respectively in a partnership firm. And then at the end of 1 year, Mohan earns a profit of 21,600. What is the total profit earned by the firm? Nothing mentioned about time, so same time. Same time means the profit ratio is equal to investment ratio, right? Investment ratio we can calculate from here because the individual investments are given. 80,000 is to 64,000, all right, is to 48,000. Okay, so 3 zeros are directly cancelled. Then if you remember the table of 16, 16 5s is 80, 16 4s are 64, 16 3s are 48. So the ratio is 5:4:3. This is the ratio of investment, hence it is also the ratio of profit. Now Mohan earns a profit of 21,600. Here the order was Ram, Rahim and Mohan. Now Mohan's share from here will be equal to 3 divided by 5 plus 4, 9 plus 3, 12. Right? So 3 by 12 into the total profit. Now total profit is not given actually. Mohan's share is given 21,600, correct? So in place of Mohan's share, we'll say 21,600 equal to 3 by 12 is simply 1 by 4 into the total profit. So very simply, you can calculate the total profit from here, right? As you can see, total profit in this case will be equal to 21,600 into 4. 21,600 into 4 will be multiply normally. It is 0, 0, 4 6 are 24, 4 1s are 4 and 2 6, 4 2s are 8. So it is 86,400 rupees. This is the total profit. Okay. Now the next one. The 10th question, it says Anamika and Sonam invest rupees 39,000 and 32,500 respectively to start a business. At the end of 1 year, they share the profit equally since Anamika did not stay in the business for the entire year. Right. So Anamika stays for less time. After how many months did Anamika leave the business? We already done one question like this. Let's do it again. So here investments are 39,000 is to investment ratio. Let's directly calculate investment ratio for Anamika and Sonam. 39,000 is to 32,500. If you simplify 0 and 0, 0 and 0 are cancelled. If you divide by 5, it will become 78 and this will become 5. So it is 65. Great. Now 13 6 is 78 and 13 5 is 65. So the ratio of investment is 6 is to 5. This is investment. Alright. Now time we don't know, but one thing is clear that Anamika is not there for the entire year. That means Sonam is there for the entire year. Let's say Anamika is there for X months and Sonam is there for 12 months. So the ratio of time is X is to 12. That means the profit ratio, how will we calculate profit ratio? Profit ratio will be the product of investment into time. That is 6 into X for Anamika and 5 into 12 for Sonam. Right. So this is the ratio of profit. Now 6 cancels 12 2 times. So it is X is to 10. Right. Then this is the profit ratio. Okay. Then the question says they share the profit equally. Perfect. So X is to 10 is equal to 1 is to 1. This means X by 10 is equal to 1 by 1. Clearly X is equal to 10 months. That means Anamika was there in the business for 10 months. What is the question asking? Question is not asking that. Question is asking after how many months did Anamika leave? Right. So Anamika left after 10 months. Correct. Right. So from this, Anamika was there in the business for 10 months. That means Anamika leaves after 10 months. Right. Anamika leaves after 10 months. Be very careful. If the question was how many months before the year end Anamika left, then answer would be 2 months. Right. So you have to be careful about the language of the question. Okay. The next one now. P and Q started a partnership together. P's investment was twice that of Q and the period of his investment was thrice that of Q. Alright. This is a direct question. Let's say investment P and Q. P's investment was twice that of Q. Suppose Q invested 1 rupee. Then P must have invested 2 rupees because P's investment should be twice of that. Okay. And the period of his investment, period of P's investment was thrice that of Q. So suppose Q invested for 1 year. Then P must have invested for 3 years. Right. So this is the time. Oh, great. So from here we can get the profit ratio as straight away. Profit ratio will be straight away multiplication of time and investment. So for P it will be 2 into 3 and for Q it will be 1 into 1. So it is 6 is to 1. This is the profit ratio, right? Now the question says P received a profit of 9,600. Okay. So 6 stands for 9,600. Perfect. So if 6 is 9,600, how much will be 1? I think you can see it is 16 times. So 1600 times. So it is 1600 rupees. Or what you can also do is you can write 6 by 1 equal to P by Q. Right? This is the profit share ratio. Now P is already given 9,600. So you have to calculate Q. So from cross multiplication, Q will be 9,600 into 1 divided by 6. Okay. So it is 9,600 into 1 divided by 6. So 16 6 are, so 1,600 rupees. This will be the share of Q. But the question is asking what is the total profit. So the total profit should be 9,600 plus 1,600. So total profit will be equal to 9,600 plus 1,600. If you add, it will come out to be 11,200 rupees. Okay, so the answer of this question will be 11,200 rupees. Okay, now the next one. Now this 12th question is a tricky question. You have to do it very carefully. It says A, B and C start a business with investment of 2448, 4896 and 1836. Let's calculate the investment ratio first. The investment ratio will be 2448 is to 4896 is to 1836. Right? I think if you can notice, all of them are divisible by 6 4s are 6 8s are. So 408. Right? All of them are, no, they are not divisible by 408. Okay, let's do one thing. To divide them, let's divide all of them by 6. If you divide all of them by 6, it will be 6 4s are 24, so 408. If you divide this by 6, 6 8s are 48 and 6 16, so 816. Alright. If you divide this by 6, 6 3s are and 36 will be 12, so 312. Fantastic. Now, you see, all of them are divisible by 102. Yes, 102. 4 za is 408. 102. 8 za is 816. 102. 3 times is this. So, ratio of investment is 4 is to 8 is to 3. 4 is to 8 is to 3. Why I did this in the beginning itself? Because the values of investment were not very good, right? They were difficult numbers. So, we simplified it. Now, after X months, A withdraws his capital, and after X more months, C withdraws his capital. All right. Nothing mentioned about B. That means when it comes to time, B is there for the entire 12 months. Okay. What about A? A has, after X months, A withdraws. So that means A was there for X months. All right. What about C? C has withdrawn after X more months. So X months A withdraws, then after X more months C withdraws. That means C was there for 2X months. All right. This is how it has to be. So the profit ratio will be the product of investment and time. So 4 for A, this is for A, this is for B, this is for C. So for A it will be 4 into X. For B it will be 8 into 12. And for C it will be 3 into 2X. Right. So if you simplify, I think you cannot simplify much. You can divide by 2 at the max. So it will be 2x is to 12 is a 40, 96 by 2, 48 is to 3x. This is the ratio of profit, right? Now, they share the profit in the ratio 2 is to 12 is to 3. So 2x is to 48 is to 3x is equal to 2 is to 12 is to 3. All right. So what you can do is you can take actually any one of them. Let's say 2x and 48 and 2 and 12, right? So any one pair of them. So from one, if I take this AB only, if I take only AB, what happens? From the first one, A is to B is 2x is to 48. And from the second one, A is to B is 2 is to 12, right? So simplify. So 2x upon 48 is equal to 2 upon 12, right? So I think 2 and 2 cancel. 12 cancels 48 4 times. So simply X is equal to 4. So this was a very easy question, though the presentation was a little tricky. Question is, what is the value of X? So the value of X is equal to 4 and it was 4 months. Okay. Now the next one. Now this question says, Sridhar and Vijay start a business with an investment of 60,000 and 1 lakh rupees respectively. At the end of 6 months, Sridhar increases his capital by 2/3 and Vijay withdraws 40% of the capital. Correct. What is the ratio of the profit at the end of the year? Now here, even the investment is not constant for the entire period. For some period, it is a different investment and for the remaining period, it is a different investment. So let's write it like this. For Sridhar and Vijay, let's say the investment and time combination, I'll write below their names. So this 60,000 Sridhar invested in the beginning. Then at the end of 6 months, it increases the capital. So at least for 6 months, there was no change. Right? So Sridhar investment was there 60,000 for 6 months. But after that, what happened? He increased capital by 2/3. 2/3 of 60,000. Now what is 2/3 of 60,000? 2/3 of 60,000 calculated. 3 cancels 60,000 20,000 times. 20 into 2 is 40,000. Okay. So that means he increases his capital by 40,000. So already it was 60,000. Add 40,000. So it will become 1 lakh. So 100,000. For how many months? For the entire remaining duration. The total duration is of year, right? After 6 months, it increased. So for the remaining 6 months, okay, this 1 lakh rupees is the investment for the remaining 6 months. All right. But whatever profit share will come because of any one of these two situations, it will get added for Sridhar only. Okay. Now for Vijay, what is Vijay doing? Vijay started with 1 lakh. Okay. And he also was there for the first 6 months with the same amount. So 1 lakh for 6 months. Okay. But after that, what he did? After that, he withdraws 40%. Now 40% of 1 lakh is 40,000. 40% of 1 lakh is 40,000 only. So he withdraws 40,000 out of 1 lakh. That means how much amount will remain? The remaining amount will be 60,000. So 60,000 for the remaining 6 months. All right. So whatever profit you get, that will be given to Vijay, whether it is the first case or the second case. Now this is a very interesting situation. Look at it closely. You don't need to go further because I'll tell you why. See, for Sridhar 60,000 for 6 months. For Vijay also 60,000 for 6 months. For Sridhar, 1 lakh for 6 months. For Vijay, 1 lakh for 6 months. Right. So the profit the contribution, even if the order is different, the profit amount will remain same. Right? They will become equal. So directly we can see from here that the profit ratio will be equal to 1:1. Right? Just by looking at the values. Right? See, if two people invest same amount for same duration, the profit will remain same. Right? So here, just by looks of it, even though the order is not same, but the total profit will remain same. Suppose in case you don't understand this, then calculate. How will you calculate it? Let me create some space here and let's do the calculation. Okay, so we already know that the answer has to be 1:1, but what will be the process in other situations? For other situations, what you do is, let's say the profit share ratio will be equal to, let's say, Sridhar and Vijay. For Sridhar, the first amount is 60,000 for 6 months, so multiply 60,000 into 6. Plus the second amount is 1 lakh for the remaining 6 months. Okay. And add these two values. Whatever calculation you do, that profit share will come out to be the share for S or Sridhar. Then for Vijay, first it is 1 lakh for 6 months. So it is 1 lakh into 6. Okay. Then add whatever you get from the second case, that is 60,000 into 6. Right. So I hope what you can see is 4 zeros are directly cancelled from all the numbers. Okay. In fact, 6 is also directly cancelled from all the numbers because it is common. Now from the first one we get 6 plus 10, that is 16. And from the second one we get 10 plus 6, which is eventually 16 only. This we could have seen directly, but in any other case you have to do, but just understand that if the amounts were not same for the same duration, then you have to do this calculation only. So this is also very important to understand. Okay. So answer to this question here is 1:1. The profit share is 1:1. They share the profit equally. Okay. Now the next one. Now the next question, 14th one, this is again a tricky one. It says in a partnership, A invested 1/2 of the total capital for 1/2 of the time. That is half of the time. B invested 1/8 of the capital for 1/8 of the time. Perfect. Let's say the investments of A, B and C. Investment of A is, let's assume that the total investment is 1 rupee. Alright, total investment is 1 rupee. That means A's investment will be 1/2 rupees. Suppose the total time is 1 year. Total time is also 1 year. That means the investment of A will be there for half a year. Right? Now for B, it will be 1/8 rupees because the question is saying 1/8 of the investment, and for 1/8 of the time. So it is 1/8 year. Alright. So the time duration for B will be 1/8 year. Okay. What about C? The remaining capital is for C. Okay. So total capital is 1 rupee. Out of that, A has invested 1/2 and B has invested 1/8. So C's capital will be 1 minus 1/2 and 1/8. Both are to be subtracted from 1. So LCM of 8 and 2 is 8. In numerator, we will have 8 minus 4 minus this 1/8 will become 1. So it is 4 minus 1 is 3. No, 4 and 1 5. So 8 minus 5 is 3. So it is 3/8. So it is 3/8 rupees investment for C. Alright. And the duration will be 1 year. Okay. So from here we get that the profit ratio you can get the profit ratio by a simple multiplication of investment and time. Profit ratio will be equal to, for A it will be 1/2 into 1/2. Okay. For B it will be 1/8 into 1/8, and for C it will be 3/8 into 1. Just multiply investment and time. So it is 1/4 is to 1/64 is to 3/8. Now make it integer. So LCM of 4, 64 and 8. LCM of denominator is 64. So multiply by 64. You will get 1/4 into 64 is 16. 1/64 into 64 is 1. 3/8. 8 cancels 64. 8 times 8. 3s are 24. So the ratio of profit is 16:1:24. Alright. Now what is the question? The question is asking the total profit is 24,600. Find A's share. So total profit is 24,600 rupees. Ratio is 16:1:24. That is A is to B is to C. So from here we get the A's share will be equal to, A share is 16 here. So it is 16 divided by 16 plus 1 plus 24. 16 plus 24 is 40 plus 1 41 into 24,600. Right? So this is a normal division. 41 cancels 246 6 times. 6 4s are 24, 6, right? So it is 600. 600 into 16, that is 9,600 rupees. So this was a good tricky question. So the answer of this question is A's profit 9,600. Now let's take next one. The 15th question is again a very tricky one. It says ABC start a partnership firm with investment of 66,000, 88,000 and 1,10,000 respectively. A and B, who are managing partners respectively, are paid rupees 1,000 per month and 10% of the total profit to each as salaries. Oh, right. What is the income of A in the total profit of 80,000 rupees? So first of all, what we need to do is, before the profit share, there are some salaries that are given to A and B. Okay, because they are working partners. Now A is getting 1,000 rupees per month, so his total salary will be divided into two parts. One is 1,000 per month for 12 months, and then 10% of the total profit also. So it is plus 10% of 80,000. This is the salary of A. Okay. Similarly, the salary of B is also the same. 1,000 into 12, and then salary of B is also the same because they are getting the same value. 1,000 into 12 and plus 10% of profit. So 10% of total profit is 10% of 80,000. Now if you calculate this, salaries only are coming out to be, for A, this is 12,000 and 10% of 80,000 is 8,000. Right? So 8,000 and 12,000 is 20,000 rupees. Okay. Now B is also getting the same amount, so 20,000 rupees. So A and B have already received 20,000 as salaries. Now what is the remaining profit? Remaining profit will be equal to 80,000 total profit minus already the salaries given to A and B, that is 20 plus 20, 40,000. Okay. So the remaining profit is 40,000 rupees. Right? Now this 40,000 rupees will be divided in the ratio of their investments and time and so on. Nothing mentioned about time, so it is the same time. Right. So profit ratio for the division of this 40,000 will be simply equal to investment ratio. Right. Now what is the investment ratio? You can calculate the investment ratio. It is 66,000 is to 88,000 is to 110,000. So as you can see, 3 zeros are directly cancelled. And then 11 6 is 6, 11 8 is 88, 11 6 is 66 and 11 10 is 110. Oh great. So the further divided by 2, so it is 3 is to 4 is to 5. So this 3 is to 4 is to 5 is the division ratio for the remaining 40,000. Now what is the question? Question is, what is the income of A? Now for the total income of A, it will be the salary of A plus the profit share also. So here the profit share for A will be equal to 3 divided by 3 plus 4, 7 plus 5, 12 into 40,000. Now 3 cancels 12 4 times, 4 cancels 40,000 10,000 times. Right? So the share of A out of this remaining 40,000 will be 10,000 rupees. Right? So the total income, right? Total income of A will be equal to the salary 20,000. Right? 20,000 salary plus 10,000. Right? This was a very tricky question. The answer is 30,000 rupees. People usually make a mistake in understanding of the 10% of the profit. Please understand that is already given as a salary only with 1,000 rupees per month. So as a salary for working, he is also getting a monthly payment. He is also getting some extra of profit share. Right? And then whatever remains is again divided in the ratio of their investment. That is the tricky part of this question. Okay. Now let's go to the next question. Now the next one, 16th question, it says P, Q and R start a business with investment of 18,000, 20,000 and 12,000 respectively. For 5 months, after 5 months, B withdraws in investment and after 5 more months, R withdraws his capital. All right, perfect. So I think we have done a similar question like this. Let's say P, Q and R. Investments are 18,000, 20,000 and 12,000. So we can do a little bit of simplification here only. 3 zeros are cancelled, 3 zeros are cancelled. So investment ratio we can say is equal to 18 is to 20 is to 12, which you further divide by 2, it will be 9 is to 10 is to 6. This is the investment ratio. What about the time ratio? Let's see. P withdraws the investment after 5 months. That means P was there for 5 months. Q nothing is mentioned. So Q was there for the entire duration, that is 12 months. All right. And R withdraws the capital after 5 more months. So initial 5 months, then 5 more months. That means R was there in the business for 10 months. Right. So times are 5 months for P. Okay. 12 months for Q and 10 months for R. So the profit ratio, which will be calculated as the product of investment and time, will be equal to, for P it will be 9 into 5. For Q it will be 10 into 12, and for R it will be 6 into 10. So as you can see, 5 cancels 5 here, 10 2 times and 10 2 times. Then you can also see that, or let me write, 9 is to 12 into 2 is 24, 6 into 2 is 12. You can divide by 3 also, so it becomes 3 is to 8 is to 4. This is the ratio of profit finally. Now what is the question? What is the share of R in the total profit of 9,000? So basically 9,000 will be divided in the ratio of 3 is to 8 is to 4. Alright, and we have to find the share of R. R is the third one. So R's share will be 4 divided by 3 plus 8, 15, 11 plus 4, 15. So 4 by 15 into 9,000. Now 15 6 is 90, so it is 600. 600 into 4 is 2400. Right, so the total profit for R will be 2400 rupees, and that's the answer of this question. Alright, now let's take one more, and that is the, I would say, trickiest of all the questions. Okay. Now the 17th one, as I said, it is the trickiest question. It says Amar and Bhushan start a partnership, let's say A and B, okay, with initial investments of 500 and 6,000, perfect, respectively. Amar invests 500 at the end of every month. Oh, so every month he is increasing his investment by 500 rupees. So first month it will be 500 rupees. Second month the investment will be 1,000 rupees. For the third month it will be 1,500 rupees, and so on. And Bhushan withdraws rupees 500 at the end of every month. Right, so the first month Bhushan investment was 6,000. For the next month it will be, second month it will be 500 less, 5,500. Next month it will be 5,000. Next month it will be 4,500, and so on. Every month. What is the share of Bhushan out of a total profit of 2,400? Now here this is a really tricky question. You have to identify the investment amount and the time. Right. So let me do one thing. I'll write month here, and I'll say first month, second month, third month, okay, fourth month, fifth month, 6th, 7th, 8th, right, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th month. Okay, now why am I doing this? So that, see, one, I'll give you the longer method, and then I'll give you a shorter way also. Okay, so what I have done is, every month, for every 1 month, whatever is going to be the investment amount, I'm going to write it here very clearly so that you can see. Okay, the first month investment of A was 500 rupees. This first month investment of B was 6,000. Now every month the investment of A will keep on increasing. So second month it will be 1,000. Next month it will be, third month it will be 1,500. He is adding 500 every month. Okay, in the fourth month his investment will be 2,000. I'm just adding 500. I'm not doing any other calculation. I'm just adding 500 to the previous amount. In the fifth month, his investment will be 2,500. In sixth month, it will be 3,000. Seventh month, it will be 3,500. Eighth month, it will be 4,000. Ninth month, it will be 4,500. 10th month, it will be 5,000. 11th month, it will be 5,500. And last month, 12th month, it will be 6,000. So see, A has invested 500 rupees for 1 month. 1,000 rupees for 1 month, 1,500 rupees for 1 month, 2,000 for 1 month, and so on. Now similarly for B, the first month investment is 6,000 rupees for 1 month, but for the second month he is withdrawing 500, so it will become 5,500. Third month again 500 less, so it is 5,000. Then 4,500. Then it will keep on reducing by 500, so 4,000. Then 3,500. Then 3,000. Then 2,500. Then 2,000. Then 1,500. Then 1,000, and the last month it will be 500, right? So B has invested 6,000 rupees for 1 month, then 5,500 for 1 month, then 5,000 for 1 month, and so on and so forth. Now look at this very carefully. Whatever A invested in the first month, B has invested in the last month. Whatever A is invested in second month, B has invested in second last month, and so on. So effectively A's total investment and B's total investment become exactly the same, right? See, one way is you can calculate their investment ratio. Okay, how will you calculate investment ratio? I'll show you that also. Investment ratio, for that investment ratio, what you need to do is you need to multiply investment and time, right? So for A, 500 into 1 month, 1,000 into 1 month, 1,500 into 1 month, 2,000 into 1 month, and so on. Similarly for B, 6,000 into 1 month, 5,500 into 1 month, 5,000 into 1 month, and so on, because every investment is for 1 month. So from there also, from calculation also, you'll be able to see that it is 1:1. right? But here, just by feeling of it, see, whatever A has invested for a certain duration, B also has invested for a certain duration, but not in the same order. But the effective investment is going to be the same. So in this case, the profit ratio will be straight away equal to 1:1. So this was one tricky question. Okay, now what was the shorter way of doing it? The shorter way would be just to find the first and the last month. If you understand that, great. Otherwise you will have to always follow this process. Okay, so profit ratio is 1:1. So the total profit is 2400 rupees. So divide 2400 rupees and check the let's say the share of Bhushan, that is share of B. The share of B will be 1/2. 1:1, that means 1/2 into 2400. Okay, so it is 1200 rupees. The trickiest part was to see the first investment of A and the last investment of B. If it is same, then you can just, and similarly for B's first investment and A's last investment, if it was same, you could have directly said the profit ratio is 1:1. In any other case, you will have to do the entire calculation also. Okay, so just to show, I'll write investment ratio, the profit ratio here. The profit ratio will be calculated. How, if suppose we have to calculate, what do? We say it is A is to B. And for A, 500 into 1 month, okay, then 1000 into also 1 month, then 1500 into also 1 month. So what we will do is, we will take one common and we will simply take addition of all these values, 500 plus 1000, okay, plus 1500 up to what? Up to 6000, okay. Then for B also, we will take it as, for the first one, it will be 6000 into 1 plus, again 1 will be common, so 6000 into 1, 5500 into 1, and so on. Okay, and we'll keep on adding all of them up to what? The last one, that is 500, right? So add all these values. If you add all these values, if you normally add, it will be 5 common, 1 to 12, right? So 1 to 12, the summation will be it will be 1378. Okay, 5 common, so it will be 39,000. All right, so this is straight away 39,000, and the other one also will be 39,000 in this case. In any other case, you have to add these values properly, so ratio will be 1:1. So the other cases, you have to find the investment for every month and then add for one person, add for the second person, right? And this is a mathematical process. See, if this 500 and this 500 were not same, the values will be different, so profit ratio will not be 1:1. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so then the question will become a little difficult. All right, now let's take the last topic of this, that is share of rent, or simply the share. Okay, let's look at the concept and some of the questions there. I can give it a name, simply share, and primarily for our question, it will be rent share. See, when 2-3 people together, if they rent a place, how do they pay? They pay as per the usage. If all of them stay for the equal time, they will have to share it equally. But suppose if somebody stays for a lesser time, somebody stays for a more time, then the share should be different accordingly, according to the usage, right? Now here, let's take up the first example to understand that, but I'll just give you the theory. The rent share ratio. See, why do we do this with partnership? Because the logic of sharing is the same. Rent share ratio has to be equal to the ratio of product of number of people or number of animals or whatever number, right, into the time. Product of number into the time. That's it. Simple idea. Now here, if you see this question, A and B rent a pasture for 10 months. A puts 100 cows for 8 months. How many can be put in for remaining 2 months if he pays half as much again as A? Now half as much again means it will be half plus 1, half as much again as A. So half plus 1, that means 3/2 times. So when I say half as much again, what it means to say is 3/2 times. So first thing is this one. First trick was this one. Okay, so it is 3/2 times. Now come back to the question. So here, A is putting 100 cows for 8 months. How many can be put in for remaining 2 months if he pays half as much again as A? So what we should do is, let's say A and B, the number of cows with A is 100, number of cows with B is X. We don't know, we have to find that much. And A's cows were there for 8 months, right? 8 months. And B's cows were there for 2 months, for the remaining 2 months only. The question is saying that first A is putting the cows for 8 months and B is putting for the remaining 2 months. All right. So if you multiply, you will get the rent ratio. What will be the rent ratio in this case? 100 into 8 will be, 100 into 8 is to x into 2. Okay. Now 100 into 8 is 800, or in fact 2 cancels, so 400 is to x. This is the rent ratio. But it's also saying that if he pays, B pays half as much again as A. That means the rent share paid by B is actually equal to 3 by 2 times A. So from here we have A by B equal to 2 by 3. Alright. And A by B rent share is already 400 by X. So 400 by X. So from here we can see the X value will be 3 into 400 divided by 2. 2 cancels 400. 200 times 200 into 3 is 600, right? So we can put 600 cows for the remaining 2 months. Okay. Now let's take up the second question. Second question is not directly related to the concept that we have just done, but it is related to share. It says when the bill was received in a restaurant by 3 people, one person paid 2/3 as much as the other person. So right, so A is equal to 2 by 3 V. So we have A by V equal to 2 by 3, or we can also say that A is to V is 2 is to 3. All right. This is one ratio. Now Veena paid half as much as Lasha paid, right? So V is to L, or V is equal to half as much as L. Alright, so from here we have V upon L is 1 by 2, or V is to L is equal to 1 is to 2. Look at this carefully. We have to combine these two ratios. So V is the common item. For V here we have 3, and for V here we have 1. So make them same. To make them same, multiply this by 3. So it becomes 3 is to 6. This gives us A is to V is to L. The ratio will be 2 is to 3 is to 6. Right? So 2 is to 3 is to 6. Now what does this mean? The question is saying what fraction of the bill did Veena pay? V. Now V is here 3. Okay. So Veena's share will be, Veena's fraction will be the value here 3 divided by total 2 plus 3 plus 6. That's it. So it is 3 divided by 2 plus 3, 5 plus 6, 11. So Veena pays 3 by 11 fraction of the total bill. Okay, so this was a direct question, not directly related to the concept that we have just done. Let's take the next question that is related to that concept. The next question says E, F, G, H are 4 transport companies. They rented a parking place. E kept 12 cars for 9 months. F kept 9 cars for 8 months. G kept 24 cars at 4 months. So in place of cows, now we have cars. So it's the same concept, right? So let's directly put it like this. E, F, G and H, the number of cars and the time duration. So for E, the number of cars is 12 cars, 9 months. Alright, so I'll just write the values without the units. We already know the units. For F, it is 9 cars for 8 months. For G, it is 24 cars for 4 months. And for H, 24 cars for 6 months. So straight away, rent share ratio will be calculated as the product of number into months, number into time. So for E, it will be 12 into 9, right? Then for F, it will be 9 into 8. For G, it will be 24 into 4. And for H, it will be 24 into 6. So whatever way you like, you can simply simplify this. Okay, so I think 3 cancels all the numbers. 2 cancels all the numbers. 6 cancels all. But first, let's do one thing. 12 9s is 108. 9 into 8 is 72, 24 into 4 is 96, 24 into 6 is 144. Now you can see all of them are divisible by 12. So 12 9 times 108, 12 6 times 72, 12 8 times 96 and 12 times 144. So it is 9 is to 6 is to 8 is to 12. This is the ratio of the rent share. Now H's share of the rent was 1200. Now this is E, F, G, H, right? And H's share, actual share is 1200. Here in the ratio it is 12. So 12 is 1200, right? I think there is no need to do anything further. 12 stands for 1200. So 8 will stand for 800, 6 will stand for 600, 9 will stand for 900. Let me write this also. The 9 will be 900 rupees. Okay, this 6 will be 600 rupees. All right, this 8 will be 800 rupees. All right, so these are the shares of each one. Find the total rent of the parking. Simply add all of them. So it is the total rent of the parking will be equal to the simple sum of all of them, that is 9 plus 6, 15 plus 8, 23 plus 12, that is 3500. All right, so 3500 rupees is the total rent. Okay, so this was a good question. Now let's take up one more or couple of more questions. The fourth question, it says 4 milkmen rented a pasture. A grazed 18 cows for 4 months, B 25 cows for 2 months, C 28 cows for 5 months, and D 21 cows for 3 months. I think this is again a direct question, as I hope you can see that straight away. A, B, C, D, the number of cows and the time, right? Even you don't need to prepare this chart also. Okay, you can directly use the calculation here. Because I have to make sure that you understand it properly, I'm writing everything properly. Okay, so A grazed 18 cows for 4 months, time is in months, and here obviously we're talking about number of cows. Okay, now for B it will be 25 cows for 2 months, for C it will be 28 cows for 5 months, and for D it will be 21 cows for 3 months. Okay, so simply multiply. So the rent share ratio will be equal to the product of number of cows and time. So it is 18 into 4 for A is to 25 into 2 for B, and for C it will be 28 into 5, for D it will be 21 into 3. So if you simplify, you will get 18 4 is 72, 25 2 is 50, 28 5 is 140, and 21 3 is 63. Right? So this is the share ratio of A, B, C and D. Right? Now the question is saying if A's share of rent is 360, the total of the rent. Okay, from here you can see that A's share should be equal to 72 divided by addition of all of them. So if you add all of them, 72, 50, 140 and 63, simply add them. Okay, if you simply add them, you will get 3 and 2 5, 7 and 5 12 plus 4 16 and 6 22. I'll repeat, 6 plus 4 10 and 5 15 and 7 22. So 2 here and 2 and 1 3. So it is 325. 72 by 325 into the total value, whatever is the total rent. Right? This should be the calculation. And A's share is already given 360. So A is given 360. So this means 360 is equal to 72 upon 325 into total rent. Right? From here you can see 72 cancels 360 straight away 5 times. So the total rent value will be equal to 5 into 325. Multiply normally. 5 3s are 1500 and 25 items is 125. So it is 1625 is the total rent. Just be a little careful in the calculation here. So the question is asking the total rent of the field, that is 1625 rupees, and that will be the answer of this question. Okay, let's take one more question on this. Now this last question, it says 3 milkmen rented a pasture. A grazed 24 cows. Is a repeat of the previous question, just the numbers are different. So let's say A, B, C. I'll straight away write the rent share ratio. Right, we have already done it many times. Rent share ratio, how do we calculate? Number into time. Okay, so for A, number is 24 cows and the time is 4 months, so multiply. For B, it will be 10 cows for 6 months, so 10 into 6. And for C, it will be 56 cows for 5 months. So it is 56 into 5. Right? Just multiply that. So now 24 into 4 is 96. 10 into 6 is 60. 56 into 5 is 280. Oh, great. Don't do anything else here, because the question is saying A's share is 960. So that means this 96 is 960. Right? So we can identify the other values directly. So 60 will be 600. It is simply 10 times. See, if 96 is 960, that means 60 actually will be 600 and 280 will actually be equal to 2800. Everything will become 10 times. So these are the actual shares of each person. The question is find the total rent. Simply add them. So the total rent of this particular pasture in this particular question is 960 plus 600 plus 2800. Add normally. 9 and 6 is 15. 15 and 28 is 43. So 4360 rupees is the total rent in this question, and that's the answer. All right, so this is where we have completed a sufficient number of questions and the theory part related to partnership and rent share. Remember, this is always a very easy topic. The questions on these topics will be really, really easy. Okay, and it's just that the presentation of the question or the statements will be longer, but the process will not be. Okay, they're fixed statements, fixed methods, right? There is nothing great about these questions. Just follow the basic procedure, no shortcuts required. Okay, now we'll take just a couple of more questions for practice in the exercise, then we'll go ahead. All right, thank you so much. God bless. Take care. Now let's take this first question. This says A starts a business with rupees 3,500 and after 5 months, B joins with A as his partner. After a year, the profit is divided in the ratio 2:3. Right. So what we have to do is, let's say A, B, and we say the investment and we say the time duration. Right. Now A started the business and we are talking about the end of the year, after the year. So that means A has invested rupees 3,500 for the entire year. Entire year means 12 months. Right. Now B joins with A as his partner after 5 months and he was there till end of the year because nothing is mentioned. So we'll assume that B was there till end of the year. Now out of 12 months, he came after 5 months. That means he remained in the business for 7 months. He came after 5 months, right? So out of the entire year of 12 months, he was there for 7 months. And suppose his contribution, the question is asking what is the B's contribution in the capital. Suppose the contribution was X, right? Now, when we calculate the profit share ratio, what do we do? When we calculate the profit share ratio, we multiply the investment and time, right? So in this case, the profit share ratio will be calculated as, for A, it will be 3,500 investment into the time 12 months. For B, it will be X investment and 7 months time, right? And already the profit is divided in the ratio 2:3. So profit ratio is actually 2:3 is given, that is equal to 3,500 into 12 is to X into 7, that is 7X. So let's write it like this. 2 divided by 3 is equal to 3,500 into 12 divided by 7x. So from here we can clearly calculate the value of x. Now 7 cancels 3,500 500 times. 2 cancels 12 6 times. So finally we have x is equal to 3 into this 3 in the denominator goes to the other side. So 3 into 500 into 6. Right. So 3 into 5 15, 15 into 6 is 90. So x is equal to 9,000 rupees. Right. So this was a good simple question. Now let's take up the next question. Now the second question, it says Arun, Kamal and Vinay invested rupees 8,000, 4,000 and 8,000 respectively in a business. Arun left after 6 months. If after 8 months there was a gain of rupees 4,005, then what will be the share of Kamal? Right. So let's say Arun, Kamal and Vinay, the investment amounts are, for Arun the investment is 8,000, for Kamal the investment is 4,000 and for Vinay the investment is 8,000. Arun left after 6 months and the entire duration is 8 months. The entire duration in consideration here is 8 months only. Alright. So that means the time duration for Arun, it will be, because he left after 6 months, it will be only 6 months. Right. Now, Kamal and Vinay, nothing is mentioned. So we'll assume that they have stayed till the end of that entire 8 months period. So for Kamal, duration would be 8 months. And for Vinay also the duration would be 8 months. Right. So that means we can directly calculate the profit ratio from here by multiplication of investment and time for everyone. So for A or for Arun, it will be 8,000 into 6. For K, that is Kamal, it will be 4,000 into 8 is to, for Vinay, it will be 8,000 into 8. Right. So the profit ratio is equal to, just multiply, if 8 into 6 is 48,000 is to 8 into 4 is 32,000 is to 8 into 8 is 64,000. Right. Now all the 3 zeros are cancelled from all of them. Then 48 is to 32 is 64. All of them are divisible by 16. So divide by 16. 48 divided by 16 will be 3 times. 32 divided by 16, it will be 2 times. And 64 divided by 16, it will be 4 times. So the ratio is 3 is to 2 is to 4. Right? Now, what is the question asking? The question is saying that the total profit after 8 months, there was a gain of 4,000 rupees, right? So the total profit is rupees 4,005. This has to be divided in the ratio 3 is to 2 is to 4 among Arun, Kamal and Vinay. Now, what do we have to find? We have to find the share of Kamal. Now, Kamal share is 2. So it is, Kamal share would be equal to 2 divided by, add all of them, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 4, 9. So 2 by 9 into the total amount, that is 4,005. Right? So if you divide 4,005 by 9, it cancels 445 times. Right? So the value of profit share of Kamal will be equal to 2 into 445, that is 890 rupees. So the answer of this question is 890 rupees. That is A option. Right? Now let's take up the next question, the third question. It says A and B started a business in partnership investing rupees 20,000 and 15,000 respectively. After 6 months, C joined them with rupees 20,000. What will be B's share in total profit of rupees 25,000 earned at the end of 2 years from the starting of the business? So the total duration is of 2 years. Let's see, let's put it carefully. People are A, B and C, right? Now, A started with the business with the amount 20,000 rupees. B started the business with the amount 15,000 rupees, right? Now, they started and the time duration would be, for A and B, the total time duration would be 2 years, right? Why 2 years? Because they were there from beginning to end. Now, C joins 6 months later, right? And then he stays for the entire year because nothing is mentioned. So we'll assume that he stays for the entire period. Okay. So out of 2 years, he joined after 6 months. That means 1.5 years he was there in the business. So C was there in the business for 1.5 years, right? Because 6 months is half a year, right? And C joined with an amount of 20,000. So the investment of C is 20,000 rupees. So what we do is to find profit share or profit ratio, we will get from here investment into time for each one of them. So it will be, for A it will be 20,000 into 2. For B it will be 15,000 into 2. And for C it will be 20,000 into 1.5. Right? So if you multiply 20,000 into 2 is 40,000. Alright. 15,000 into 2 is 30,000. Alright. And for C, it will be 20,000 into 1.5, that is also 30,000, right? So 4 zeros from all of them are cancelled and we have the ratio as 4 is to 3 is to 3, right? So the required ratio of profit share is 4 is to 3 is to 3. Now, the question is saying, what is B's share out of a total profit of 25,000 rupees, right? So what we have here is total profit is rupees 25,000. And the ratio of profit share we have calculated as 4 is to 3 is to 3 and it is A, B, C. So that means B's share, this one, will be equal to, you see it is 3. So it is 3 divided by 4 plus 3 plus 3, 4 plus 3, 7 plus 3, 10 into 25,000, right? So 1 0 is cancelled and we have 3 into 2,500, that is 7,500 rupees. You can also find the shares of A and C as well, but here it is only the B share that we have to find. So if you look at the options, it is first option, A option is the correct answer, rupees 7,500, because the question is asking B share. Alright, now let's take up the next question. Now this fourth question, it says Simran started a software business by investing rupees 50,000. After 6 months, Nanda joined her with a capital of rupees 80,000. After 3 years, they earned a profit of rupees 24,500. What was Simran's share in the profit? Right. So total duration is 3 years. Let me put it like this. Simran S and Nanda N. The investment amount for Simran is 50,000 rupees. For Nanda, it is 80,000 rupees. But Simran started and stayed there for the entire 3-year period. Right. So for the time duration for Simran, it will be 3 years. Whereas Nanda joined 6 months, after 6 months. Right. Now 6 months is half a year. So out of a total period of 3 years, half a year is gone. So for Nanda, the total duration is the remaining 2.5 years. Right. So if you find the profit ratio, if you just multiply you will get 50,000 into 3 is to 80,000 into 2.5. Right? So you can already divide by 10,000, or you can cancel 4 zeros. You will have 5 into 3, that is 15, is to 8 into 2.5. Now 8 into 2.5 will be 16 and 4, that is 20. And this is further divisible by 5. So 5 3 is 15, 5 4 is 20. So the ratio of profit share is 3:4. Now what is the question saying? They have a total profit of 24,500. So basically what we do is we divide the total profit of 24,500 rupees in the ratio of 3:4. 3 stands for S, that is Simran, and 4 stands for Nanda, that is N. Right? So the share of Simran, because the question asking Simran share. So share of Simran would be equal to 3 divided by 7 into 24,500. 3 plus 4 is 7. Now 7 cancels 24,500, 3,500 times. Right? So it is 3 into 3,500, that is 10,500. So out of the total profit of 24,500, the share of Simran is 10,500 rupees. That is option D, as you can see. Right? Now let's take up the next question. Now this question number 5, it says A and B started a partnership business investing some amount in the ratio 3:5. So the amounts ratio of A and B is given. C joined after 6 months with an amount equal to that of B. Oh, so whatever was the initial amount of B, C joined with that amount. Okay. Now in what proportion should the profit at the end of the 1 year be distributed among A, B and C? Right? Now, and we have to consider the total period of 1 year, and C joined after 6 months. Right. So let's put it like this: A, B and C. The amounts, investment amounts of A and B are in the ratio 3:5. So let's say A invested 3 rupees, B invested 5 rupees. Now C joined after 6 months but invested amount equal to B. The B amount is 5, so C amount also can be taken as 5. But the time durations are different. Let's see. A and B started and they were there till the end of 1 year. So the time duration for A is 1 year. Time duration for B is also 1 year. But C joined after 6 months. So out of 1 year, he has already joined after 6 months. After 6 months is half year. So that means he was there for only half a year. Right? So from here we can find the profit ratio as just multiply investment and time for each one and take the ratio. So for A it will be 3 into 1. For B it will be 5 into 1. And for C it will be 5 into 1 by 2. Right? So it is 3:5 by 2. Now the ratio cannot have fractions. So multiply the entire ratio by 2. So if you multiply the entire ratio by 2, you will get 3 into 2, 6, 5 into 2, 10, and 5 by 2 into 2 is 5. That means the ratio of profit share would be 6:10:5. And that is the question asking. Question asking, in what proportion should the profit at the end of the 1 year should be distributed? So it is 6:10:5, which is the option C here. Alright. Now let's take up the next question. Now this is a tricky question. This question says A and B entered into a partnership with capitals in the ratio 4:5. After 3 months, A withdrew 1/4 of his capital and B withdrew 1/5 of his capital. Then gain at the end of the 10 months was rupees 760. A share in the profit. Now here you have to be really careful. The total duration is only 10 months. Right? Sometimes people tend to overlook it. Okay. Now let's see. Let me write it A and B. Now let's talk about A first. Ratio is 4:5. So let's take the amount invested by A as 4 rupees only and B as 5 rupees only. But was this investment for the entire period of 10 months? No. For the first 3 months, for A, the investment was 4 rupees. So let's say it is 4 rupee for 3 months. Then what happened? Then he has withdrawn 1/4 of his capital. Now 1/4 of 4 is 1. Right? So 1/4 of 4 is 1. So he has taken out 1 rupee. So out of 4 rupee, if you take out 1 rupee, the remaining will be 3 rupees. Now this remaining 3 rupees is still invested for how many months? Let's see. Total time period 10 months, out of which 3 months are gone. So 10 minus 3, that is 7 months. Right? Similarly, B. B initially invested 5 rupees. Right? For 3 months, he was also there with his 5 rupees. So this 5 rupees was for 3 months. Then what happened? After 3 months, B also has withdrawn 1/5 of his capital. So 1/5 of 5 is equal to 1. So out of 5 rupees, he has taken out 1 rupee. That means the remaining 5 minus 1 will be 4 rupees. Now this 4 rupee is invested for the remaining duration. What is the remaining duration? Out of 10 months, 3 months are gone. So 7 months, right? Now how do we go about it? How do we calculate profit ratio? Now we remember that the profit ratio is calculated by the product of time and investment. Here this 4 rupees is for 3 months, so multiply 4 and 3. Then this 3 rupees is for 7 months, so multiply 3 and 7. And both these things will contribute to the profit of A, so they will be added. So this is the total profit contribution of A. Similarly is to the total profit contribution of B will be 5 rupees for 3 months, so 5 into 3, plus 4 rupee for 7 months, so it is 4 into 7, right? So the profit ratio for A and B would be 4 into 3 is 12, 3 into 7 is 21, right? Is to, for B it will be 5 into 3, that is 15, plus 4 into 7, that is 28, right? So it is equal to 12 plus 21 is 33, is to 15 plus 28 is 43. Okay. So the ratio of profit is 33 is to 43. Now what is the question asking? The question is asking the total profit was 760 rupees, right? Find the share of A, find A's share very clearly. So we have total profit is rupees 760. The ratio of A is to B profit is 33 is to 43, right? That is A is to B. So A's share from here will be equal to 33 divided by. Now 33 plus 43, 3 plus 4, 7, 3 plus 3 is 6, so it is 76 into 760. Good. So 76 cancels 760 10 times. 33 into 10 is rupees 330. That means the answer of this question is 330 rupees. If you look at the options, the first option is the correct answer, right? Rupees 330. Now let's take up the next question. Now this question is a very interesting and tricky question. You have to be really careful here. It says A and B invested in the business in the ratio 3 is to 2. 5% of the total profit goes to the charity and A's share is rupees 855. Fantastic. So let's say A and B. Let's assume their investment amounts are rupees 3 and rupees 2. The ratio is given 3 is to 2, so we can take 3 and 2 rupees. There is nothing mentioned about time. Now, whenever time is not mentioned, we assume that the time is same. Now, whenever time is same, the profit ratio is straight away equal to the investment ratio. So it is 3 is to 2, right? Now, the second part is A's share is already given 855. First, let's do one thing. Let's assume that the total profit is equal to X rupees, right? Now, if 5% goes to the charity, right? If 5% goes to charity, then what is the remaining profit which is shared? So the shared profit will be equal to 95% of X, right? Or you can also say, see, 5% goes to the charity, so remaining will be 100 minus 5, that is 95%. So 95% of X will be 0.95X, 95 by 100 into X, so 0.95X. Now this is the shared profit and it has to be shared in the ratio 3 is to 2. So from here we can very clearly see that the share of A would be equal to 3 by 5 into 0.95x, right? So share of A should be equal to 3 by 5 into 0.95x, and share of A is given 855. So 855 is equal to 3 by 5 into, now 0.95 can be taken as 95 upon 100 into x. All right. So if you cross multiply, you will get the value of X from here. I'll write here this, from this relation, we can get the value of X like this. It is 855 into 5 into 100 divided by 3 into 95. Now 5 cancels 95 19 times. Good. 19 cancels 855. If you cancel 19 4 is 76 and 19 5 is 95, right? So it is 45 divided by 3. So 3 cancels 45 15 times. So X is equal to 3 cancels 45 15 times. So it is 15 into 100, that is 1500 rupees, right? So the total profit in this question was 1500 rupees. If you look at the options, it is B option is the correct answer. Okay. Now let's take up the next question. Now this is another tricky question. It says A, B, C jointly thought of engaging themselves in a business venture. It was agreed that A would invest rupees 6,500 for 6 months, B rupees 8,400 for 5 months, and C 10,000 for 3 months. A wants to be the working member of for which he was to receive 5% of the profits. The total profit earned was 7,400. Right. Calculate the share of B in the profit. So first of all, let's do one thing. Total profit that is given 7,400. Out of this 7,400, 5% goes to A's salary because A is the working member. So clearly A's salary, not the A's total share, A's salary only, right? That is equal to 5% of 7,400. Now we know 7,400, 10% is 740. So 5% will be 370 rupees, right? So the remaining profit will be equal to, subtract 370 from 7,400. So it is 7,400 minus 370, which is equal to 7,030 rupees, right? Now, this remaining profit, we know that this is also the shared profit. Okay, so this is the shared profit. So we have already given the salary of A. Now the shared profit is 7,030. Now how do we share this profit? Let's see. Now it's also given the amount with the duration for each one, right? So it is A, B, C. The investment amounts are given as, investment amount of A is 6,500. The time for A is 6 months. Now investment amount of B is 8,400. For months I'm just writing M. Okay. So the time duration for B is 5 months. For C it is 10,000 rupees and duration is 3 months, right? So the profit ratio will be calculated as the product of investment and time for each one. So 6,500 into 6. Make sure the investment unit is same everywhere. So it is rupees in this case. Time unit is same everywhere. That is a month in this case. So profit ratio for A it will be 6,500 into 6. For B it will be 8,400 into 5. And for C it will be 10,000 into 3. Right. Now as you can see, 2 zeros are straight away cancelled. Then 5 cancels 100 20 times. 5 cancels 5 here and 5 cancels 65 13 times. Then 3, right? So 3 cancels 3 here and 84 28 times and 6 2 times. Then further 2 cancels 2. 2 cancels 28 14 times and 2 cancels 20 10 times. Right. So finally the ratio of profit is 13 for A, 14 for B and 10 for C. This is the ratio of profit for ABC, right? So this shared profit has to be divided in this ratio. Okay. Now the question is, what is the share of B? So B's share will be equal to, B share is this one, middle one, that is 14 divided by 13 plus 14 is 27 plus 10 is 37. So 14 by 37 into 7,030. Now this is a very interesting situation because 37 directly cancels 7,030. You can check it. It cancels 19 times. All right. So it is 190. So B share will be 14 into 190, which is equal to rupees 2660. Right. So the answer of this question, that is B's share in the profit, is 2660, which is, if you look at the option, it is the second option. B option is the correct answer. All right. So we have done a sufficient amount of practice for the questions related to partnership. Now let's take up some questions on the share of rent. Now this till now what we had done was ratio of profit. Now we'll do the questions which are related to share of rent. Okay. Now this question is based on the share of rent. It says ABC rent a pasture. A puts 10 oxen for 7 months. B puts 12 oxen for 5 months. C puts 15 oxen for 3 months. If the rent of the pasture is rupees 175, how much must C pay as his share of rent? Here also the logic is almost the same as we did for profit sharing. How? Let's see. Whenever you rent something, you pay according to the usage, right? Now usage can be defined in different manners. For example, when you take a house on rent, you just talk about the time, right? You don't worry about how many people stay there. Okay. Here, when you talk about pasture, the person who has a higher number of animals with him should pay more, right? That has to be the logic. Okay. The person who has a lesser number of animals should pay less. Again, similarly, the person who is using for it less time, right? Here it is 7 months, 5 months and 3 months. So the person who is using it for less time should pay less. Now to simplify that, we'll just create a simple formula. Rent share ratio will be calculated directly from the ratio of product of number into time into rate of consumption if it is there, right? So rate of consumption, sometimes it is there in some questions. Here it is not, but I'll just given you the formula. So in this case, if you see, the rent share ratio will be calculated as, now let me write in the same manner as we did in the partnership questions, ABC. So here the number of animals that they have, A has 10 oxen, B has 12 oxen, and C has 15 oxen. And for those who don't know, ox is the male version of cow. Okay. Now the duration, the time duration for A for 10 oxen is 7 months. I'm writing M for months. And for B, it is 12 oxen for 5 months. And for C, it is 15 oxen for 3 months. Right? Now, the rate of consumption is not mentioned in this question. So, we will assume that it is same for everyone. Now, what is same is ignored. So, from here, the rent share ratio or rent ratio will be calculated as, for A, it will be 10 into 7. For B, it will be 12 into 5. For C, it will be 15 into 3. Just multiply the number of animals into the time. So more or less the formula remains the same as it was for profit share ratio. Now here 10 into 7 is 70, 12 into 5 is 60, 15 into 3 is 45. Now all of them are divisible by 5, so divide them, or you could have done it earlier also. So when 5 divides these numbers, it becomes 14 is to 12 is to 9. So the ratio of rent is 14 is to 12 is to 9. Now in this case, the total rent is given as rupees 175. The question is asking how much must C pay, right? Now this ratio was A is to B is to C. So C share will be given as 9 divided by 9 plus 12 is 21. 21 plus 14 is 35. So 9 by 35 into 175. Now 35 cancels 175 exactly 5 times. So 9 to 5 is 45. So 45 rupees must be paid by C. Right? So if you look at the options, I think it is the first option that is the correct answer. All right.